Mark, good to see you. Today, we're going to talk through why 60% of wealth transfers fail and the conversation that every family should have this holiday season. The holidays bring families together, multiple generations under one roof, which is why it's also a great time to talk about family finances and the legacy that you want to leave behind. So, I was surprised to learn this 60% of wealth transfers fall apart because of a lack of communication and trust. Why is it so hard for families to have these conversations?
Well, Aaron, excuse me, thank you so much for having me today. And, it's really interesting, when you really think about it, they call it the third generation vanishing act, because by the third generation, a lot of families' wealth is gone. And I
Mm,
think on the front end of this, the big issue is a lot of people just don't want to talk about death and
yeah,
money. In
right.
fact, if you go to a cocktail party, people are more willing to talk about sex than they are willing to talk about money. So I think what we need to do as families, and this is a good time to be doing that at the holidays, is really start having those conversations.
Yeah. So, why do you think the holidays may actually be the best time to have these conversations?
Well, it's you have most of your family under one roof. It's a cat, it's supposed to be a casual, happy setting. And I think the big issue here that I would like to convey is it doesn't have to be anything major. It can be a 10-minute conversation. But the point is that you get that conversation started. And this is a really good time of the year to do that.
So, what information should parents or grandparents share with their adult children?
Well, of course, we want to know as children, and conveying that to our children as parents is, hey, we have a will, we have a power of attorneys, we have a trust. When was it all created? And one of the things that we do for our clients is we create what's called a survivor's guide or an
Mm,
estate organizer. So basically, it gets your financial house in order. Everything is in one document, everything needed to settle the estate. So ultimately, having those documents can really be the conversation starter that ultimately your children don't have to be aware of everything or it's just what you want to share, but they need to know that you've done these things so that they're not trying to Columbo, if you remember that show, become a detective to try to figure out where everything's at after you pass away.
classic show. Absolutely. I'm glad you brought up documents, though, too. What legal documents should families be reviewing together?
Yeah, I think at minimum, we really need to be reviewing, the will, the medical, the financial power of attorney, the DNRs,
Mhm.
who is responsible for all of those things. And then, yeah, if we have a trust, and we do want to talk about obviously estate transfer and how we can go about avoiding probate. And really bringing the kids into those conversations to let them know what you've done to do all, the documents that you do have and the things you've done so that you avoid probate, because at the end of the day, that's what we're all trying to do.
Right, absolutely. And Mark, I know you have a lot of experience doing this. So, do you have any tips to help families keep these talks positive instead of uncomfortable?
Well, with a lot of our clients, we'll offer to have conversations with us, with them involved, beyond kind of getting the conversation started. And in fact, that's really where the survivor's guide comes into play, because again, if we bring the whole family in, whether it's a Zoom call, whether it's in person, then it makes those conversations much easier. And of course, as
Yes.
the advisor playing that role to help facilitate or mediate the conversation, it goes very smoothly typically.
Right. Much less emotionally charged with kind of a professional in the room with you. A
Yeah.
good point. So, Mark, if somebody would like your help to get the ball rolling to have this conversation with their family, what's the best way to reach you?
Well, you can simply reach out, give us a call. Our phone number is 303-681-0113. And anybody from our team would love to talk to you. We can set up a Zoom call, we can set up an in-person meeting, or you can go to our website. It's McGregorWealth.com. You'll find a number of resources there, but you'll also find a calendar link. And if you'd like, you can match your schedule up with mine and schedule directly on my calendar.
Great. Mark, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Aaron.